We got 6 guys that I would play any of them. I love all of them. You know, I'm not going to. I mean, I feel that way about all of them. I think last year it wasn't that way. You know, we had, especially when we lost Mike. You know, we really had 2 guys, and the rest of them were freshmen. They kind of had to grow up. But now, I think those 6 guys can go and execute in any situation, any type of play. And then Cornell is a guy that's you know, getting better each day. What a talent he is. And then Overton, same thing. I mean, Overton is the biggest thing with him right now is he's just physically he just got to develop physically, you know. But boy, does he have the skills. But he's just a little bit further down compared to those guys. Because we got some guys that have really, you know, grinded in that weight room. But Travion is a young man that I think is going to have a heck of a year for us. Playing a couple different spots. Very dependable.
Could you compare DeAndre to maybe Mike Williams when he came in?
Yeah, similar. Mike was probably 200 when he got here. He was probably about 200. Skinny, looked like a basketball player, and that's what Overton looks like. Looks like a basketball player, but he ain't gonna look that way long. We're gonna drop him in that grease, in that power hour. He'll come out a new man. And he's a great young man. He's got great work ethic. He knows that he's got to get a little stronger to be able to be effective like he wants to. You know, guys like him, that's one of the biggest challenges when we get them, because we're going to get great athletes at the receiver position. And most of the guys that we're getting, very few people walked up and played man-to-man on them in high school. Very few. And so they've never really had to learn how to play with their hands. They never really had to learn how to, you know, tie your hands, eyes, and feet together and redirect and things like that. That's kind of the, you know, where he's at. And then really playing behind your pads, behind your hands, and being physical in the combat zone. That's a challenge for him. When you look up and there's Cordray Tankersley breathing on you. He ain't had many of those in high school. So just a different step in the, you know, process that he's got to go through in developing as a receiver. But we're fortunate because we're able to bring him along at his pace.
You said the other night that Tavian would definitely play, but with the depth at running back and even out wide where you could maybe put him in a slot or something, how do you make sure he gets enough touches to make the burning a red shirt worthwhile?
I ain't worried about that. I mean, we're gonna play the best guy and play as many of them as we can, and I don't have any type of. He's gonna get better. This is a guy that's physically ready. So what, I don't need to put him in power hour and get him physically ready. He's a guy that mentally just has to be exposed, and the reps that he gets from practice, the game plans, the meetings, the opportunity that he gets to play when he plays, he's going to be so much better. And if you look at it, you know, he's going to be a guy that'll be critical next spring. So it's important that he gets some good experience, and he will. There's no doubt he will.
Any walk-ons that have stood out that might be competing, whether it be it's critical special teams or two?
Yeah, well, I think, you know, right now we still haven't made a decision on the backup punter. Spires and Batson and King have all three. They're like kind of neck and neck. Now Spires we could redshirt. You know, Batson and King have already been redshirted, but we're going whoever the best guy, whoever wins it, that's what we're going to go. And we're really giving them all opportunity. You know, the distance, the hang times, the nets, all that stuff counts. But those 3 guys are in the mix for that backup punter spot. You know, Austin Spence is battling SDs for the snapper spot. Both those guys have been you know, walk-on guys for us. But you know, other than that, right now, that's probably the main guys.
Any of the backup punters? Any of them pushing Andy?
No. Andy is at his own level. He has had a great fall camp. Andy's got a chance, I think, to punt on the next level. I really do. I mean, this kid has had a phenomenal camp, and he's just a worker. He's a grinder. He's an athlete. That's what a lot of people don't know about Teasdall is he is a really good athlete. He can run. You know, he was a great lacrosse player in high school. Had some opportunities to go play lacrosse on scholarship, but he really wanted to, you know, chase his dream of playing football. But I really think he's got a chance. to get a good look at the next level. If he'll have the type of season that I think he's going to have, but he's definitely separated.
Where's he had to grow the most as a punter from
just
when
consistency and just it wasn't something that he had really done a lot, and so just consistency and with his technique, his drops, all that type of stuff. I mean, he's been outstanding.
How underrated was he last season? He lose a punter early to the NFL, which is obviously a rarity. But he comes in. He obviously didn't blow the competition away, but he was pretty reliable.
Yeah, he was very reliable. And the thing about Teasdall, it's one thing I tell him all the time. We don't really. Sometimes stats can be very, very misleading. We have an offense that's going to move the ball more times than not, and so he's going to do it. How did he do punting in? He did a phenomenal job of pinning people deep and creating field position all year long, because that's what he was asked to do. We're not out there, just trying to punt for things to look pretty. We're trying to create field position, but he can do it. He can do anything you need him to do, punting the football. But it was big. I mean, it's the same thing. He was a guy that hadn't really played last year. Hugel hadn't played, and so we're in a much better spot with those guys going in than we were this time last year. In every sense of the word, physically, mentally, you name it. And Teasdall's a great leader too. He's a guy that's really become a guy that these guys truly respect because of how he's worked in the weight room.
Greg's still young, but is he taking on that
Yeah,
role too?
he sure has. Greg's been he's right at 90%. I think he's kicked, I think it's like 48 or 49 competitive kicks that we chart, competitive situations throughout camp, and I think he's right at 90%.
A long off the top of your head?
Tremendous job. Say it again.
A long off the top of your head?
Last year he made several from 55 on our practice field. We Tuesdays is always our long kick day, and he made several from 55. But I think that's well within his range. Leg is strong, just a matter of hitting it. He hits it solid. He's got the leg.